Managing the Business Risk of Fraud, a practical guide, outlines 5 principles that the organization should adhere to in order to have a comprehensive, a 360-degree fraud risk assessment and fraud risk management practice. Principle 1 is about the fraud risk management program, the program. So, Principle 1, as part of an organization's corporate governance structure, a fraud risk management program should be in place, including a written policy or policies to convey the expectations of the board of directors and senior management regarding management fraud risks. Principle 2 of 5 deals with exposure, the fraud risk exposure that an organization faces. Principle 2, in short, states that fraud risk exposure should be assessed periodically by the organization to identify specific potential schemes and events that the organization needs to mitigate against. Principle 3 deals with prevention. Prevention is one of the anti-fraud measures, including perception of the detection of fraud by auditors, internal or external, as well as deterrence techniques. Principle 3 states, prevention techniques should be developed to avoid potential key fraud risk events, and that these prevention techniques should be established where feasible to mitigate possible impacts on the organization. So, to mitigate the possible impacts, we're talking about quicker responses, quicker detection, and thus fewer losses to the organization as a result of the fraud prevention techniques. Principle 4 then deals with detection, the detection techniques that need to be in place. Detection techniques should be established to uncover fraud events when prevention measures fail or unmitigated risks are realized. Remember, the cost benefit prevents a firm from preventing all frauds. As such, some fraud risk will end up being unmitigated. Occasionally, unmitigated risks will be realized. In other words, fraudsters will take advantage of unmitigated risk to cause harm. Principle 5 deals with the reporting process that should be in place, which is a feedback loop. Essentially, Principle 5 states that a reporting process should be in place to solicit input on potential fraud, and a coordinated approach to investigation and corrective action should be used to help ensure potential fraud is addressed appropriately and timely. So, we're dealing not with just a reporting and feedback loop in its pure form. We're also talking about the investigations, the corrective actions, which include remediation, and we have to recognize that anti-fraud efforts are iterative. These are not one-time reviews. These reviews occur at least every year, every quarter, every month. Whatever management determines the necessary iterative process needs to be in, certainly after any major fraud occurs, we need to go through the entire 5 principles and the fraud risk management process to reevaluate things, given that the organization has been victimized by a fraud that is fairly substantial in size and possibly duration.